some parts of the nation, I mean, some people are crying out that Nigeria is, drifting to a one-party state. Some politicians are accusing the president, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of turning Nigeria or trying to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. So many concerns. Just recently, one of the founding members of the PDP, Senator Chris Ekpenyong, actually said it is over for the PDP. When governors of the PDP are supporting, are endorsing Mr. President, I mean, it should give cause for worry and concern. So Senator Chris Ekpenyong is saying, what is happening right here? Yeah, he believes the PDP may not survive this, according to him. And he also believes that the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Eno Umo, might also, declare that he is defecting, might also decide to join the APC. So according to him, he believes all these people moving to the APC actually signifies the death of the party. And that's talking about PDP. And not just that, the PDP caucus of the Rivers State National Assembly have also declared their support for Mr. President, talking about 2 senators and about 7 House of Reps members of the PDP from Rivers State declaring support for the ruling party, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As a nation, sometimes we need to ask ourselves questions. All these moves, all these political moves, are they really ideological moves? Are they based on ideas or on party ideologies? Or we're just having politicians who are just fighting for their own survival? Joining us on the conversation this morning is Mr. Ayo Ologun, a social commentator and, of course, human rights activist to look at this topic. Good morning, Mr. Ologun. Thank you for joining us again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, we're looking at the political landscape in Nigeria. So many defections to the ruling party. Some people are worried that Nigeria is turning to a one-party state. The question is, all these defections, all these movements, you might call it a political transfer window, are they born out of ideology, or these are just politicians fighting for their own survival? First of all, what's your own impression of what is going on right now in the nation?
Well, what is going on presently in the nation is something that was so predictable before now for keen observers of our electoral process or our political process, and for someone who takes a backseat to watch events unfold. What is happening presently is very predictable. For some of us, it doesn't come as a shock. One, you're talking about if these politicians that are doing transfer like they are doing in the football industry, if they are doing it because of modesty, because of integrity, if they are doing it because of conviction, absolutely no. And that is because politically, the political parties in Nigeria are not even born out of ideologies. Political parties in Nigeria are not driven by principles. Political parties in Nigeria are not in any way being joined or living from based on conviction, principle, ideologies, or the laid down rules of the party. They don't have one. All political parties in Nigeria are all one and the same. So when you have a system that is in itself not different from those who are supposed to oppose it, then you can be sure that those in the political parties are not different from one another. I've said it again and again, that if you put it on percentage, the number of politicians that we have recycled between 1999 till today is well over 80% of the total number of those in politics. Those who are newbies or who are finding their way to the political arena outside of the political class of 1999 are less than 15%. So when you have men of the same time, of the same age, of the same belief, joining one political party and moving to another like they are criss-cutting, then it shouldn't come as a surprise. But we should be worried as a people that 24 years in this Fourth Republic, we still seems not to be getting things right. We still seems not to be decisive in the kind of people that we elect into public offices, we're still not getting right in the issue that concerns principles of governance. Take a look. Those who were your governors in 1999, one way or the other, a number of them are in the Senate. Those who were in the Senate, a number of them have been recycled as governors. Those who were governors, many of them are ambassadors and ministers today, vice versa, except for input of a few here and there who are just newbies. You take from the House of Rep to the Executive Council. They move from the Executive Council to the Senate. They move from the Senate to becoming ambassadors. From becoming ambassadors, they are chairmen of boards and parastatals. So nothing has changed. And when you have these continuously as a nation, there is a lot to be worried about. It signals a collapse of the democratic process because new ideas, new initiative are not being infused into the heart of government. And that is why I don't join people to blame Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is a politician. Politicians, by their being, by their creation, are selfish. Politicians will tell you it is self before the people, because it is what you have that you can offer the people. So if politicians think that way, you don't expect that Bola Tinubu will be different. He possibly wants a consequent time, and anything legal, any way legal, will be open to him to explore. And one of it is ensuring that there is no credible alternative to himself ahead of the 2027 election. So when he does that, you don't blame him. He's simply doing what a greedy human being like every other politician would do. So for as long as this is not illegal, for as long as it's not coercing them, except by the influence of his office as president, then he should not be blamed. The people who have turned themselves to goods that can be bought are the ones that you should be worried about.
All right, Mr. Olugun, you talked about new ideas, but unfortunately, like you said, we are not having that right now. Let's look at the National Assembly, for instance. The National Assembly is supposed to be a body that should serve as, putting checks and balances, to the activities of the executive arm of government. What kind of opposition are we having right now? Are you worried about the nature and quality of opposition we have in Nigeria? Because just take a look at this. Just recently, members of the opposition party in the National Assembly, the PDP caucus of Rivers State, declaring support for Mr. President. What does that say about our democracy? Before you respond to that, I'd like our viewers to take a look at that. The members of the National Assembly, Rivers State PDP caucus, declaring their support for the president.
As members of the National Assembly from Rivers State, we declare unequivocally our unconditional resolve to work again for the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027. As legislators who are closest to our people, we shall begin the model of all mobilizations of our people to repeat in a greater measure what we did in 2023 in order to re-elect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, come 2027. Finally, we call on all Nigerians to support the consolidation of Renew Hope agenda as the surest panacea for the prosperity and progress of Nigeria. In this connection, we appeal to would-be presidential candidates, especially those with desperate and never-ending presidential ambition, to jettison such ambition and rally around our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFRO, in 2027.
The PDP caucus of Rivers State right there declaring their support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu come 2027. Mr. Olugun, how do you react to this? What's your opinion? Are you not concerned about the quality of opposition we are having? What exactly is going on here? We are talking about opposition in the National Assembly declaring their support for the president. Who's to blame for this? What exactly are you not concerned, rather? Let me put it this way. Are you not concerned about the quality of opposition we are having right now in Nigeria? Or do you see any opposition at all for that matter?
How can you be talking about quality when in the real sense of it there is no opposition? It is what is existing that you can be talking about the quality of it. In this case, opposition does not even exist, except at the grassroots. When you see the Yalata and the Yaonerus fighting themselves because they are PDP, APC, immediately you move up the ladder a little bit, all of them are one and the same. Your senators under the umbrella of the PDP here are more APC in Abuja than even the governor of the state. So you listen to those men from River State and tell me if that statement you saw them read was born out of any good intention for the nation. Those are a group of men who have lost their conscience. Those are a group of men who have lost ideology. Those are a group of men that are simply used as tools when by themselves they should be calling the shot. You obviously don't need to read again or to listen to it again before you know that those ones are doing the bidding and the caprices of an ESM Wike, because their press statement addressed two things. Number one, they were casting aspersion on Atiku, who was their erstwhile presidential candidate in 2023. And that's why they describe him as people with never-ending ambition. Of course, you don't need to think twice before you know they are referring to Atiku. So tell me where the loyalty to their party. I'm not a politician, I don't belong to any of the parties. But tell me where the loyalty to their party is when you describe your immediate past presidential candidate as someone with unending ambition and that you should jettison such. And you are also casting aspersion to say that anybody who wants to contest in the next election should jettison the idea and come to support a presidential candidate of the opposing party. There is no way those ones told us the reason why they want to support Tinubu is because in infrastructure, he has done this. In security, he has achieved this. In international trade and diplomacy, this is what we have achieved. Our GDP has increased. Our inflation rate has reduced. They are not talking to issues. They are simply talking about ambition. That what they did in 2023, they are now confessing that they betrayed their own party in 2023 and they will do much more in 2027. I take exception to, I have no respect whatsoever for such people. I don't care that you are House of Rep members or whatever you are. But the moment you lose your integrity, the moment you lose the principle of ideology and loyalty, then you lost everything for me. And that is to tell you that there's no opposition, let alone we're talking about the quality of it. Just a few days ago, the PDP Governors Forum in Ibadan declared that they will not be joining any coalition just to enhance the failure of an Atiku, whom I don't like anyway. I don't know what he's looking for. But nonetheless, that is a pointer. Now the National Assembly caucus of the River State PDP have done their own. Don't forget the governor of Akwa Ibom is hell-bent in supporting a Tinubu administration. The entire PDP structure in Delta have become to the APC. There are insinuations and under-talk that the current governor of Osho State is also making moves to either join the APC or negotiate his return and support the president for a second term. Then you tell me, when governors of a party, senators of a party, House of Representatives of a party, who are supposed to be the shoulder upon which the members try to thrive, upon which ideology is driven, have lost such principle and ideology, then how can you talk of opposition? I tell people, there is only those who are the grassroots that are fighting, and those your Facebook and social media people sellers that will be casting aspersion and causing their mothers and fathers on Facebook and what have you. The real politicians are not different from one another. They dine and wine. They dine and wine. They are this in the afternoon, they are something else at night. And they throw their followers into unending pain. Some of them lose their life in the cause of loyalty to a party whose leaders are betrayers. So you cannot be talking about ideology. You cannot be talking about quality of opposition when in the real sense of it, opposition does not exist. But you don't blame Ebola Ahmed Tinubu. He's doing what a politician will do. You should blame those who have thrown their integrity into the dustbin and have become so cheap. They are so rich in terms of wealth, in terms of money. But when it comes to ideology, ideas, principles, they are so poor. And that is why it's easy to buy them over. They come with a price.
All right, Mr. Olugun. You're saying they like ideologies that they are easily bought over. But my question is this: what is the implication on our democracy as a nation? Okay, when we do not have viable opposition, when we don't have strong opposition, what is the implication? That's number one. And number two, Mr. Olugun, what do you think is the motive of these politicians? What exactly is their motive? You know, away from the PDP caucus in Rivers State, just declaring their support for Mr. President. Several other, politicians have been defecting, planning to defect. Even the only Labour Party governor was rumored to be, making moves to do, although he came out later talking about Alex Oti to say that no, he remains in Labour Party. He's not planning to defect. The question is, what is their motive? And again, what is the implication on our democracy as a nation when everybody is running towards the ruling party, the APC? Now look at Delta State, for instance, when the entire structure of PDP, recently, just last week, defected to the APC. And some people are saying that the APC will implode. That's another question. The APC will implode. But first of all, I'd like you to address it. What is the implication of not having a strong position? How will it affect our democracy as a nation?
Let me begin from the rear. And that's about the statement you made lastly. Get a pen and a paper there and write this down today. The whole of the APC and the PDP will not only implode, but cease to exist anything after 2031, when hopefully Tinubu will have finished his second term. There won't be a PDP, there won't be an APC, because it will self-destroy itself automatically, and a new regime.
Sorry to cut in, Mr. Ologun. Are you predicting a second term for Tinubu? You said when he must have finished his second term. Are you predicting a second term for him?
Absolutely. I don't like it. It's not an idea that I love, but it's our reality. Because I don't see anyone who wants to contest a Tinubu and win when all the gladiators have found themselves in one cup. They are all at the table. So let me quickly add that. So that's why, if you call it a prediction, yes, I don't see Tinubu not winning the second term, except if God decides to do otherwise. But I can tell you that by 2031, there won't be an APC and there won't be a PDP. There will be a new order, and there will be an emergence of another breed of politicians who hopefully will be able to do what can take Nigeria from the point at which it is to the land that we have always desired. That's by the way. Now talking about the implication of all of this defection to the polity, to Nigerian politics and democracy. It simply means that going forward, there won't be any iota of integrity and accountability in the system. If you are expecting that there will be accountability in the system in the next 4 years if Tinubu or when he wins the second term, then you are joking. I will refer you to the statement made by Adams Oshiomhole and one other person, I think RFI, when the going was still good, that if you have a problem and you are being haunted by the ICPC and the EFCC, all you need to do is to join the APC and your sins are forgiven. And it's looking like it. What they are taking now is what we call sign-on fee in football. The governor of Delta State, the SY governor of Delta State, was accused of having embezzled about 1 something trillion naira of money accruable to that state. And just when he was being dragged by the FCC for accountability, himself and the entire structure of the APC, of the PDP in Delta State, has jumped deep to the APC. He has taken a sign-on fee. Don't forget how Akpabio became Senate president. He was being dragged by the FCC here and there. At a point, he even offered to pay back what he was being accused of. And those who were there said, no, we don't want the money back. We want him to join the APC. He joined the APC using the purported money embezzled as his own sign-on fee. Today, he's the Senate president. We can go on and on to count. So what that means is that every of the privras, the thieves in court now, will begin to look for succor in the ruling party. They will find that succor, and there will not be room for integrity, accountability, or probe of any kind. That is number one. Number two, the implication for it is that in the next 4 years, apart from internal wrangling between the political class, the people will suffer more. Because when you have more people, more gladiators in the ruling party, everybody will be looking for their share of the common cake. So even the crumbs that those of us who are poor men scramble for, there won't even be crumbs, because they will not only eat the cake, they will lick the plates. So Nigerians should be ready to suffer more, because it's going to be about the politicians and not the people. There won't be anything to even leave behind, because they will not only eat the cake, they will eat the knife with it. So Nigerians should be ready to suffer more. Number three, implication is that there won't be a voice in the political sector again against whatever the president and the ruling party does, except for the society and religious leaders. They will now be more burdened in their duty of check and balances, because within the political sector, there won't be an opposition. All of them will dine at the same table until that table explodes, and then we begin to hear rumbles. And by that time, another election cycle will be ahead. And now you also ask, what is the motive of these politicians? Survival. Put 100 politicians together. Hardly can you find 4 or 5 of them that can survive out of politics. Even though some of them claim to have second address, they have used the money they have accrued to build schools, build hotels, build all of that. Even at that, they become so disgruntled, they become so worried that the kind of lifestyle that they have imbibed is what is no longer sustainable, and so they look for every means to get patronized. That's why you see members of the opposition that are on the pay list of the ruling party, because not soup is as sweet as that cooked by free money. And because they want that free money to continue, they want patronage, they want their name to continue to be in the media, they want their name to continue to be mentioned on radio, on TV, and in newspaper. They want to enjoy the convoy, they want to enjoy the blaring of the siren, they want to enjoy recognition without integrity. They will do everything humanly possible to ensure that they remain within the circle of politics. So their interest, their motive is perpetuation. They want to perpetuate themselves in office. They can't imagine life after office. And that is where we say politicians are greedy. And most of the time, that greed leads them to their grave.
All right, Mr. Olugun. Talking about their motive being survival, let us look at it from another angle. I mean, some people might say, a lot of people have said the president, that's talking about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a strategist. But this might actually go beyond being a strategist. You know, some also will argue that he's not coercing anyone. What if there is another form of coercion going on right now? You mentioned it before that, you know, talking about the EFCC, those who have cases to answer, with the EFCC now defecting to the APC. Just recently, the former executive secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, made an allegation. He accused Mr. President of weaponizing the EFCC, an anti-graft agency, to silence him. Before I respond to that, I'd like our viewers to take a look at this. Professor Usman Yusuf accusing Mr. President of weaponizing the EFCC to silence him. Okay, while we wait for that, I'd like you to react to this. Now, it might not just be, we're talking about the motive now, so there might actually be some form of coercion. This man has come out, Professor Yusuf has come out to say that the president is actually weaponizing the EFCC. He gave an account of how he was arrested. I mean, they came to his house. I mean, they didn't allow him to have a change of clothes. They just whisked him away. He said the van was waiting, the engine was running, and just, okay, I think it's right now. Let's just quickly take it before you respond.
Yeah, Kuje for me was just a retreat for rest, prayers, and reflection. But seriously, you know, on the 29th of January this year, at about 6:30 p.m., my wife came up to my room and said there are some gentlemen that knocked and just walked into the room, dark suited, walked into the door. They want to see me. They said I'm expecting them. I came downstairs in my jalabia, no hat, and flip-flop. And they said they are from the EFCC. They've come to take me to the EFCC. I said, guys, you haven't even introduced yourselves. So they just brought out their badge and said, oh, they're EFCC. Show me arrest warrant. Oh, we don't need that, sir. Okay? Allow me to go upstairs, change. They blocked me. They didn't let me. Allow my wife to go upstairs and bring me some change of clothing. They refused. We went outside. As we went outside, their bus was waiting outside. The driver was sitting. The engine was running. And there were 5 armed mobile policemen, some deployed behind the house, thinking I would run. I'm not a runner. So we went in, and I was sandwiched.
That was Professor Usman Yusuf right there, former executive secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, accusing Mr. President of weaponizing the EFCC. You just saw his account. Mr. Olugun, what's your reaction to this? Should we be concerned as citizens of this nation that the president might actually be weaponizing anti-graft agencies just to, coerce politicians?
Well, I think when you use the word might, you are simply trying to play safe, and I understand because of the demand of the job. But the truth is that's exactly what Mr. President is doing. And we can give examples and examples and examples of such. The moment you are being witch hunted, in quotes now, even though some of them have questions to answer, have an issue. But the moment they are put on the spotlight, the next thing they do is to begin to look for negotiations on how to join the ruling party or do one or two things for Mr. President for a safe haven. And really that is done, their sins seems to be forgiven, their files turned or burnt, as the case may be. But for those who are recalcitrant, they begin to answer queries and questions and what have you. And it's quite unfortunate that we live in a nation where justice is selective. We live in a nation where accountability is conditional. Because how else do you explain it? That what shoots you from being prosecuted is a member of being a member of the ruling party is absurd. It's insane. Apart from the president and the vice president, governors and vice president, no other person has an immunity. But we can begin to count how far with the case of embezzlement and money laundering that the Senate president is involved in. What of Kalu, the former governor of Abia State? What of that of the former governor of Kogi State? All of a sudden, those things goes down just because they are loyalists and they are favorites of Mr. President. All the money Wike was accused of stealing, and even his illegal shielding of Fubara as a Accountant General in those days when EFCC declared him wanted. Where is the results? How far have we gone? These are pointers to the fact that justice is selective and accountability is conditional. And when you have that, the nation should be worried. I remember I used the term while talking to you a couple of days ago that what Mr. President is doing is coercion by influence. He does not need to put a gun to anybody's head to say you must join the APC. But it's a matter of calling people with skeletons in their cupboard that, look, we have this and this and this against you. You know the implication of this and this and this. If this matter gets to the court, you know this is likely going to be the case. Another 15, 20 years in jail. And then they begin to incite them. Add that to your age. What happens to your integrity? What happens to people's opinion of you? Do you realize what will happen to your wife and children while you are in detention? They begin to work on their psyche. And when all of this adds together, the person is forced to ask, what do I have to do? And they say, what you need to do is simple. Either you keep quiet, join the ruling party, or mobilize for Mr. President's re-election and forget about everything that would come. That is what we call coercion by influence. When you are supposed to get something naturally, legally, from the presidency or from the federal government, and for no reason, that thing is kept in view. They KIV it in a file, and you don't even get access to it or know if what you are pursuing is making any progress or otherwise. And then you try to find out, and I say, oh, the governor or Mr. President have said we should not treat your file. And then you make further inquiries.
All right, Mr. Ologun. Just finally, before we go, we really have to go down on this segment. If you say the president is actually shielding corrupt officials who have decamped to his party, then what does that say about his fight against corruption? Does it mean that the fight against corruption is dead in Nigeria as it is right now?
Which fight? Has Tinubu ever told anyone he was coming to fight corruption? Please don't add to his feather what he never asked for himself. Throughout his campaign, he was very careful. There was nowhere I found in his campaign statements that he said he was coming to fight for corruption. You want to fight a devil by himself? So Mr. President never told anyone he was coming to fight corruption. So if you are waiting for him to fight corruption, you will wait till the second coming of Jesus Christ. What simply tells you is that rule of law, justice and accountability is taking a nosedive into the hardest pits of hell. But please don't lie again, Mr. President. He never said he was fighting corruption. He never said he was going to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Ayologun. We've been speaking with Mr. Ayologun, a social commentator on public affairs, analyst, human rights activist as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayologun, for joining us again today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll take a short break right now. When we return, the program continues. Please stay with us.